Hello, welcome to this update. So we still have Hurricane Oscar there, uh, hitting Cuba, parts of the southern Bahamas, and all there's uh, remnants of Nadine there. So it says it dissipated in Mexico, but there's still some key messages. Localized areas of flash flooding remain possible. The vicinities of the remnants of Nadine across Belize, northern Guatemala, and southern Mexico through Tuesday morning. So the wind speed probabilities doesn't show anything crazy because it's already dissipated, but the rainfall potential still 200 to 300 millimeters in Veracruz or Chaca in some areas. So let's see, las áreas localizadas de inundaciones repentinas permanecerán posibles secuencias de las reminiscencias de Nadine a través de Belice, norte de Guatemala y sur de México hasta el martes por la mañana. Good. So be aware there. But in the Atlantic, the main threat in the Atlantic is Oscar now. So it's still a hurricane there. Let's see. So it's about to hit Cuba there. It's a very small system. You see the wind field is very, very small. The yellow area. That's tropical storm force winds. The hurricane force winds are like very close to the center. It's very small. And then there's the tropical storm warnings, the southern Bahamas, parts of Cuba, the hurricane warnings, and the hurricane watches further north in parts of Cuba, and tropical storm warnings and watches. And there are now the tropical storm watches in central Bahamas too, expected to be a tropical storm there, so be careful. Let's see, there's still the rainfall potential, more than 200 millimeters in Cuba, potential 300 millimeters, so more than 12 inches. Be aware. There's like here, let's see, a hurricane warning remains in effect for southeastern Bahamas, for partial northeastern Cuba. Oscar is expected to produce dangerous storm surge portions of southeastern Bahamas this morning, especially in Great Inagua Island, along the north shore of Cuba later this afternoon and evening. Heavy rainfall from Oscar will lead to areas of flash flooding and possible mudslides across parts of eastern Cuba, especially within Sierra Maestra through Wednesday. In addition, localized areas of flash flooding possible southeastern Bahamas through Wednesday. So please be careful there in all those areas. Let's see, un aviso de huracán permanece en efecto para el sueste de Bahamas y porción de costa no noroeste de Cuba. Se espera que Oscar produza uma rajada ciclónica perigosa porções do sueste de Bahamas esta manhã, especialmente en la isla de Gran Inagua y al largo de la costa norte de Cuba. Más tarde, esta tarde y esta noche, las fuertes lluvias de Oscar conducirán las áreas de inundaciones repentinas junto con posibles deslizamientos de tierra a través de las porciones del este de Cuba, especialmente dentro de la Sierra Maestra, hasta el miércoles. Además, sean posibles inundaciones repentinas localizadas a través del sureste del Bahamas hasta el miércoles. So stay safe there. There are the tropical storm force winds in the Bahamas and Cuba there. Some higher probabilities. The hurricane force winds, mainly there in Cuba, the hurricane force winds, and shows the 50 knot mile per hour, no 50 knot wind probabilities there in Cuba and the Bahamas. Those very strong winds localized in the center there. So you see the hurricane force winds have like a very small radius there. So please be careful in those areas and stay safe. It's right over Cuba and the Bahamas there. So in the next 7 days still doesn't show anything, but we are getting some other signs for like the end of this month to watch there. So let's see, we have this area in the Eastern Pacific 90% chance already. A trough of low pressure has developed the Gulf of Temporak this morning, which is dual partial remnant of Nadine. Environmental conditions likely for further development. A tropical depression likely to form within the next couple of days, while the system moves westward around 50 miles per hour away from the coast of Mexico. So be aware there. Central Pacific, nothing crazy. So here's Oscar, and it shows a lot of convection there, the heavy rain. So please be careful the strong winds and everything. So the global and hurricane models take this uh, into Cuba there, and then into the Bahamas, and all the models take this into South Central Bahamas. So please be careful there. Stay safe. Some GFS ensembles are kind of crazy, but generally take this for Cuba and the Bahamas, and the Canadian are even more crazy, showing the Caribbean, but the general consensus will curve this black line from Cuba into the Bahamas there. So be careful. The intensity guidance is category 1, expected to weaken to category to tropical storm, weaken tropical storm, and then later, yeah. So be aware and be careful. So let's see. There's the GFS, it shows Oscar there, and then it keeps going. The GFS kills Oscar pretty fast. So it has Oscar now as a hurricane, but then kills it off very fast. And this is the forecast shows will still be a tropical storm over the Bahamas there. The GFS shows something weaker, but yeah. And later, I won't even show you later because it's crazy. I'll show you in the end for like November and those times. So let's see. The European model shows stuff. No, this shows Oscar there in Cuba in the Bahamas, and then it goes there, and the Europeans still keeps it as a tropical storm crossing over the southern Bahamas and going maybe affecting Bermuda later. So better watch in Bermuda for heavy rain there. There's the icon. It shows Oscar there. It goes, steals a tropical storm the Bahamas and passes Bermuda by Thursday. So be careful. There's the Neptune. It doesn't quite show Oscar really strong, but it does show it there, passing over the Bahamas and then Bermuda. There's like the Canadian too. There's Oscar, passes over the southwestern Bahamas, and then goes away. So be careful those areas and stay safe there. Let's just see the information for Nadine, if there's something interesting. So there is over Central America, the heavy rain in Mexico, and most models they take this just out into the Eastern Pacific, so no big threat for land. And the models are still showing to category 1, category 2 maybe on the Eastern Pacific there. So yeah, and here like in the Eastern Pacific it does show, there's the GFS, does show Nadine heading out there, but it strengthens this pretty much and goes out there. There's the European 0Z, so does show this goes there, forms again, and the European is also strengthening this a lot on the Eastern Pacific and goes out there. There's also the icon, shows it there, goes, and also shows it strengthening very much on the Eastern Pacific. So all these models are showing a lot of strengthening. The Canadian too shows stronger there and goes away. So be aware those areas. And like here, let's see what's happening down the road. So the Europeans shows Oscar there in the Bahamas, then heads out into Bermuda, and started to show by like October 30th. Some ensembles are picking up some small disturbances in the central western Caribbean by October 30th. One or two even show like tropical storm strength, but most are very weak. And yeah, this is the European. The GFS on the other side is already showing some stronger stuff near like the central Caribbean, especially western Caribbean, but very little support still, but still showing like some there in the western Caribbean for like October 30th. So let's see like here on like the further ensembles shows GFS. So the shows Oscar there in some areas. So let's see 60. So later, after Oscar, by October 28th, already shows some members there on the 30th on the Western Caribbean. But the GFS does something strange. It gets a system out of the southwestern Caribbean and takes it northeast towards Hispaniola. That's a very weird track, but we never know. It shows two members. There's one big one there and another small one there, showing some stuff. And then it goes there and gets very strong when spread out into the Atlantic. And even after the big system goes, it's showing some more support layer but by November 3rd for more stuff in the Central Eastern Caribbean. And it's weird, it's showing more like Central Eastern Caribbean and not like Northwestern Caribbean. That's a weird zone, but yeah, we never know. So, better keep monitoring there. There's the European too, shows, come on, here shows Oscar there and stuff, and then later this the zeros here. There doesn't show much, but by October 30th, the European also shows a very big area there of some members showing potential development. Nothing certain yet, but take a look at this. This is the Canadian model actually. So GPS, yes, that's the Canadian. Sorry, and then so by October 30th, the Canadian model gets a big area there, in like northwestern Central Caribbean, and he keeps showing more support there from October 30th to November 5th, showing a lot of potential systems there. So we'll monitor this very close. And now it's the European. So sorry about that. So let's see. It does show Oscar there and stuff. Then by October like 29th, it starts showing some members there. Has a stronger member going through Jamaica and Cuba. And this by November 2nd, the European does have more support there around Hispaniola, Cuba, and Jamaica for a bunch of stuff. So almost all the models are showing support for more stuff at the end of October and November. Like, so we'll keep monitoring, but still nothing certain. Like the GFS, the operational one, has a hurricane forming in the Central Caribbean and passing just between Hispaniola and Puerto Rico on like November 2nd. And yeah, but that's a little bit of hallucination. They might be too strong for the GFS. The Canadian doesn't go all that far, but by November 30th, it does try to spin up a low pressure to there. It does show some rain building near Central America, and the European does show like some rain building there, but nothing crazy. And yeah, we'll we'll keep monitoring in those areas and be aware. Let me see if I find something here. So yeah, so let's see, for example, down the road here, the potential for like rising air. So we potential vortex. So later, now it's like October 20th. So let's see. So now it's practically a bit unfavorable. So like here, so this like this part is October here. 20th it shows some dry air and it still shows unfavorable and shows like the most of the moisture on the Western Pacific there now. But it starts showing some green on the Atlantic by like October 30th. So some green starts creeping there. That's like rising air, favorable for tropical development. By November 2nd, it shows very favorable environment there in the Atlantic. So we really need to watch very closely in November for the potential of a few systems in the Caribbean there, starting on October 30th. Nothing certain yet, let's not freak out, but just better watch the signs because this year does show some pretty favorable environment. And here, Let's see, now we are around phase 6 of the Mediterranean Julian oscillation, 6, 7, around that. And it shows here, like later on, we might get to like phase 8 or 1 again, because in this side of the graph it's more favorable in the Atlantic. Now we are around this side, it's kind of unfavorable. It's unfavorable, but we do have two systems out there, so yeah, imagine when it becomes favorable. So we'll keep watching this, but nothing so crazy yet. Where's the interesting things? So the sea surface temperatures are pretty warm still, some 29 to 30 degrees Celsius in the greater around the greater Antilles and some areas, and still some crazy 150 plus ocean heat content, central western Caribbean, and even like near the eastern Caribbean, many areas there. So be aware, and we'll keep monitoring. So there's here the rainfall from the European Cuba there in some areas. It has more than 200 millimeters in Cuba, like 214 millimeters, 188 millimeters. So please be aware in Cuba, so 168 millimeters. It has still in Mexico like 200 millimeters, parts of Mexico still 188. So might still be some flooding, especially around Veracruz and Oaxaca, some areas there, especially around Veracruz to eastern Mexico. So please stay safe there. In Guatemala and Belize, in the next 5 days, still shows 90 close to 100 millimeters in southern Mexico and Guatemala, especially like near Honduras, northern Honduras, still shows 118 millimeters. If I put this until next Tuesday, only shows 36 millimeters or something. Until next Wednesday, shows more in Guatemala, and until next Friday, already shows more in Honduras again. So be careful. Further north into Mexico, close to 190 millimeters near some cities there, especially El Lobo and some other areas. So be careful there. Western Mexico, some more thunderstorms. It shows in Panama and Costa Rica some heavy rain in Panama still, so be careful there. Shows in the Caribbean some more moisture coming in, so especially Trinidad and Tobago some 40 to 57 millimeters. Barbados is showing like some 45 millimeters. St. Lucia some 40 millimeters next 5 days. Until Tuesday only shows some 14 millimeters. Until Wednesday 22 millimeters. Until Friday some 43 millimeters. So be aware of more moisture there, more showers and storms next week, especially later half of next week. Some more showers in Puerto Rico, the northeastern Caribbean. Maybe a storm or two in Puerto Rico. Some storms in Haiti and Dominican Republic, especially northern Dominican Republic. Might be more thunderstorms. Western Cuba is fairly quiet, but be careful with the system in Eastern Cuba, please. Some Clarence Town, some islands of the Bahamas there, more than 158 millimeters from the system, so please be careful there. Maybe some flooding, some small showers in further north to the Bahamas, some islands of the Turks and Caicos still, some islands, no, some rain in the Turks and Caicos, and be careful. The Caribbean that does show a scared shower too. Some storms, especially later next week. This Tuesday shows some showers and storms passing by, especially next Wednesday. But we next Thursday shows some more showers and storms next Thursday and Friday. So be aware there. There's a heavy rains in Mexico, Central America, more storms from time to time in Nicaragua, parts of Panama, Costa Rica, and as Oscar goes into Bermuda next Wednesday to next Thursday, later next Wednesday to next Thursday there. So be careful. Like the wind gusts shows it's still strong there, more than 71 km per gusts in Cuba, and does show those gusty winds picking up again near the Bahamas, especially like some 78 km per gusts near the Bahamas on Wednesday, and then this goes out there, might still be a gust wind there too, and then shows that this gets tied into a front there, and like Bermuda on Wednesday already, there already be some very gusty winds near on Wednesday in Bermuda. It shows The worst winds on Thursday stay just east of Bermuda, but yeah, maybe some heavy rain and the stronger winds there. So be aware. And you see that those orange areas on the US, there's a strong high pressure system there that's keeping Florida safe this time. So it's like driving Nadine further west into the Eastern Pacific and driving Oscar northeast. So the US is safe this time. You see that big H there. So yeah, and what else? This mainly it. So stay safe, please stay safe from Oscar there. The wind, the waves, and some storm surge and larger waves, and especially the rainfall, some flooding. Central America, Mexico, please stay safe there. And those areas I will monitor for later this month.